Question.
Yes, sir.
You talk about security of tenure of the PCS.
Yes.
The irony of that is that you want the president to appoint somebody to run the affairs of his government, and you actually had said that the political authority is the vision holder, is the president.
Yes, absolutely.
Appoints a PCS who then somehow within his cabinet assumes the security of tenure. Don't you think that is a bit of a political folly?
Politically, it may be folly.
Just note down.
Yes. Okay. So let me take the questions then. Okay.
Coming.
But I like the suggestion that if in the event the constitutional way is difficult, then we can create a cabinet act or something of that nature and provide for the prime cabinet secretary.
Very well. Thank you.
Okay. Now, I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
I was waiting for him to finish. Okay. Now, back to the issue of prime cabinet secretary.
Yes.
And you will recall that even the Azimio coalition had a proposal to that effect prior to the elections. In fact, we called it the chief cabinet secretary. Same things, really. But then this one, we had not envisaged that we would have it entrenched in the constitution at all. But now this idea, now that we need to entrench this position of chief cabinet secretary in the constitution, is being interpreted in some quarters as simply a way of rewarding individual, securing the position of Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, for instance. And in a sense, it is causing serious friction between the Honorable Musalia Mudavadi and the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua.
That's presumptive.
Yes, yes, for sure, yes. And to an extent, that is being, to an extent, the incessant outbursts of Honorable Gachagua casting aspersions or castigating this talk is attributable to that mere fact that the Honorable Musalia Mudavadi's position is being entrenched in the Constitution and thereby watering down the influence, power, and prestige of the office of the Deputy President. What's your take on that, as a scholar of high repute, Dr. Mutobwa?
Yes.
Dr. Mutobwa, and then as you respond to my brother on some of those matters that are presumptive, I also wanted, you have no opinion on the entrenchment of the office of the official opposition leader?
All right. Those are all the questions. Thank you for those questions. I will want to start with Honorable Wandai's question. I am not a politician. I do not understand the intricacies. We basically are speaking to the mechanics of state and how state power is shared and how it is managed. The Honorable Musalia Mudavadi is an individual. He is holding the office. The offices created in the Constitution are for perpetuity. We hope that the offices cannot be equated to the individual holding them for the time being. However, the politics of the day is for politicians to talk about. But my thinking is that the seeming tension between the office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary and Deputy President, in a manner of looking at the framework in the statute, in fact, is a more justification why a statute may be useful in delimiting those functions properly. But even more importantly is an office that has the ability to improve delivery of service, coordination of cabinet functions, cannot be, you cannot say you do not want that office simply because a current political arrangement does not favor that kind of thinking. I do not think that the thinking around the Azimio or the Kenya Kwanza entrenchment or creation of a chief cabinet secretary or prime cabinet secretary was meant to entrench a certain individual. In fact, it was meant to create a situation, an appreciation of the political culture in the country, that the more power is dispersed horizontally, the better for everybody than it is vertically, because it creates an impression, even if it is only for optics, that there is inclusion in the affairs of state. That is my thinking. Now, the other question asked by Honorable Omar, security of tenure, a very difficult one, because it is difficult to prescribe security for tenure for one cabinet secretary and not the others. But this is a political conversation to have. My suggestion was that, look, for one to be effective in a role almost that of a head of public service and a CEO of the state on behalf of the president, a person who will be held accountable by the appointing authority, there must be some way in which that person wakes up in the morning knowing that he has a job, and the job can only be taken in certain circumstances prescribed by law. And those circumstances will be prescribed in statute, and he will have an opportunity to also be heard on certain accounts if at all he has taken the job. That's my view. On the question of the leader of official opposition, some people think that the system of government we run today may not necessarily be one that favors the office of the official opposition, leader of opposition. And the thinking is that the leader of official opposition should be in parliament. It's a fallacy. The contribution in terms of opposition debates, checking the government of the day, does not have to happen within the House of Parliament. But indeed, the leader of official opposition is very well represented in Parliament. And the leader of official opposition is an office. And if it's an office created or entrenched in the Constitution, it does not have to give that individual a seat in either Senate or National Assembly for him to be effective, but create structures around the office that would allow him to rally his troops in Parliament, appoint shadow cabinet secretaries, for instance, and articulate his position from a podium where he has facilitation. I do not think that the leader of official opposition is only a preserve. It is a thinking that is informed by experience and other situations. However, we are also able to craft our own approach to opposition involvement in government. The manner in which you craft that particular office, in my view, may involve the leader himself not being in either of the houses, but also leading troops in the house and also being able to make certain appointments within the legislative arms of government. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.